women has it worse than anybody on the planet.
Anybody. That's
And
why their answer was
anybody.
black women. Matter of fact, I thought that when you brought it up, I thought that, but I just didn't. I wanted to hear what they were going to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And hey, I got some more. Hey, I got insight on what I initially thought. My it ain't no equals to that. It's like, yeah, we
Hmm.
got raped too, but dang, woman,
Hmm.
like, dang, like
Yeah.
that, and it's really sucky too because I think I feel like people don't have their own morals, meaning that people live by the societal morals of their gender versus, hey, this is just a wrong thing. You hear it in conversations all the time. Men be, women be, versus that nigga just saying how he be. like, like, no, not men be, even though I feel like you're putting yourself in the category by calling yourself out. But at the same time, it's not really men be. It's just that you're choosing to live by a societal rule for men set by not you.
Just going along with it.
Exactly. Do you actually believe men be? Or do you actually feel this way? Because you live in your life unlike how you claim men be, or how a man, not men, a man, meaning you, be. I feel like that's everybody, women too, live by societal morals of what a woman
Whatever, yeah,
is supposed to
whatever
be.
they brainwash the agenda for us to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you live by it versus
We
having
conform to them.
you conform
Yes,
to it versus actually standing up to your own beliefs. Like
Individuality. Right.
individuality, yes. Like again, like I think people, humanity, people, however you want to call a civilization, believing in stuff versus taking the time out to think about why they
why
believe
do
in
you
that
believe?
thing.
Like, why do you believe the way that you do?
uh, you know, people don't take time to do that. Like
To
they just,
sit
I'm
and
just
think
going,
for themselves. You know,
yeah.
once you become an adult, okay, I was under my parents' rules, but now that I'm an adult and I can run my own household, how do I want my household to run? Like I don't believe in my children getting up on Saturday morning and cleaning the fucking baseboards and washing windows and
Right.
missing out on cartoons or not being able to just have some fun on or being able to
Right.
just sleep in on a Saturday
Hmm.
morning.
Yeah. Being a kid, baby. Missing out on being a kid.
If your daughter want to be a female, she better clean up on Saturday morning.
Exactly. But that's facts. And then that's how society, or that's where the old schoolers say, well, that's how she learns to be a
Yeah.
female, and that's how she learns to
Right.
be her, to learns her role.
And I say
Exactly.
this on I talked about this or bring this up on an often basis too, is that I think men is a large portion of psychological issues of women. And I think back to what, again, according to what slavery says about history, or what history says about slavery, I think a lot of it goes back further than that, actually, way further than that, because I'm not even sure if cavemen slash Neanderthals or whatever type of other uh, uh, humanoid humans that was supposedly be on Earth years ago, according to science, did they actually feel or treat women the way women are being treated now? Because if so, I doubt that we would have a species of women around today if cavemen slash Neanderthals or whatever type of humans was back then, because they would be all slaughtered.
All the men would be slaughtered.
No, the women would be all slaughtered by men.
Slaughtered by men.
By men, if cavemen, because again, according to science, there were at least four other species of human. The way they make them out to be is that they wasn't as smart as, hey, their intelligence didn't go as too much farther than I can use this stick to hit something. They didn't know what a hit was, but we
Right.
perceive it as hitting. So as far as that, did they actually have what we would call a level of respect for women species of that time? Because if they act the way we act now, and you could just tack on X amount of years of not really intellectual intelligence, how will we be here? Because women would probably be slaughtered by them.
I think it comes down to like if we think about history, right, and what we know of all things, right,
Mm-hmm.
is that Neanderthal man and woman are always classified as like hunter and then gatherer, right? And that then symbolizes to me some kind of balance, right? Because it can't just be all meat and kill, kill, kill. There has to be some care. There has to be some meal. There has to be some of that stuff, right? So you start from a place of balance. And then if you move forward through history, right? Who wrote the history books? Who held the education? So
The
the
white man.
definition of that relationship is driven by white men, right?
Yeah,
For
and
the
what they
longest
want
of
us to
time.
believe.
Okay. And so, therefore, the person controlling the logic, the knowledge, the history, the anthology makes the rules, right? And then you step forward in history and to the point that you brought up earlier, Donnie, right? Like of being currency, there's all of the history of family deals being brokered and mega families being made by what? Marriage of daughters into other families to merge families and make these big conglomerates. It's across all histories. It's
Mm-hmm.
still happening today, right? And so when I think about where we are today, which is just a slightly evolved, frankly, version of where we've always been, it's where we've
Absolutely.
always been because we continue to perpetuate the system. Even though
Hmm.
there are many individuals who are like, hey, this isn't right, and I question this. And, as you grow out of the things that society puts on us, and it's not just our parents in our homes, right? It's the education systems we go through. All throughout school, we're told, hey, these are the things that you need in order to get a job. These are the things that you need in order to have money. These are the things that are societally acceptable as norms, and these are the things that are outside of it. Okay, there are a whole lot of jobs that and a whole lot of time, as you brought up, Coach, that I straightened my hair because I couldn't be professional. I couldn't make
Right.
real money. I couldn't be
Yeah.
taken seriously in the
Right.
workplace unless I did
Because
it.
yeah. Yep.
Why? Because that's what society says. This is the norm.
What society told us
And
what the
said
norm was and what was
exactly.
appropriate
And
for
what the
corporate
For a
America.
woman.
definition of professional
Oppression was. Yes.
first, and then the definition of professional woman, and then the
Yes.
definition of
This
professional
is
black
professional
woman.
black men. Yes.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
ooh,
Yes.
ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. And I, a long time ago, was like, I'm actually not about this. But initially I was, because when I was in my 20s, I didn't know. I
I
just
didn't you
did.
didn't you didn't
I didn't
know.
know. No one is
You
out
did
here
not
telling me, hey,
know.
that's some bullshit. You can have your hair whatever way you want. That doesn't define how
Yeah,
smart you
fuck
are,
them.
what your intellectual level is, what you
Right.
bring to the table.
Yeah.
Okay, none of
Mm-hmm.
that. But that's what my mother had been taught. And so that's what she taught
Exactly.
me
Mm-hmm.
because she felt
Yes.
she was giving me the foundation to be successful in the world
And
as it is today.
I
yes.
think the thing that makes it more sad, at least from my personal experience, that I was getting the pushback from other Black people. And like, I feel like we redig, going back to the term, our traumas or our triggers, or like just opening up the issue more for ourselves. Because like, when I was in 12th grade, I decided that I wanted to go natural and I was going to stop pressing my hair. And the people that would talk mad shit were other black people, like the black men. They're like, oh, that's ugly, or like it was just not a thing, or like I was getting that negativity and that judgment from other black women. And I know we're all going through or we're learning these negative habits, but like, I mean, we keep having the same conversation that we're aware of the issue and this and that, but I feel like I'm getting more of the pushback from other black people, and it just makes it harder. So I think that's a little sad.
I think
It
it's
is sad.
extremely sad.
It is.
And that to add to the sadness is that it sucks that that's survival being taught to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's the word, survival.
Mhm.
That's the suckiest part about it. Like, I can't
If
be
you want to
myself.
survive, you have to conform.
Exactly. You can't be yourself because
Yeah.
you will die. You're going to have a miserable
Oh, I'm
life
sorry.
being yourself because you're being taught how to survive. Like, I just said it to I think I forget who I was talking to, but I was like, white people are white people are raised to be racist or ignore it, and we are raised to survive that.
To survive it.
We are raised to survive what white people are being taught.
Mm.
And that's the suckiest part about it. The fact that survival is probably like the underlying to this particular conversation sucks to me.
Yes.
Like, this shouldn't be a part of survival. Like, this we should just be living.
Mm-hmm. Not surviving all the time.
Exactly, not surviving all the time. Like, man, we ain't living with T-Rexes and
Right.
we ain't living out in the
We're
freaking
not, yeah, we're
wild.
not running away from lions and tigers and bears. I mean, we're not doing
Right.
that.
Exactly.
Right.
So we
Why am I
should.
always fighting
So
for my
why
life?
am I always in survival mode?
Yeah.
Exactly, and that I think that's the whole suckiest part
You know,
about it.
I mean, and I think I went back along. Rochelle really hit, I think, on just our education system. You know, at one time, I really felt like one of the worst things that happened to us was the integration, because when we were segregated, we had all our own stuff. We had our own hospitals, we had our own schools, we had our own, like, I remember hearing a story about when Rosa Parks rode the bus, but when they integrated the bus system, the black bus systems all went out of business because all the black people now wanted to ride the white buses. So now the black owned bus companies now are out of business. The black owned taxi cab companies are now all out of business. You know, whereas one time we had to be entrepreneurs because we had to have our own stuff. The only thing that we couldn't do was like the manufacturing and stuff like that, because we still had to get our resources from the white people.
Mm-hmm.
And why we'll never be able to get anything even to this day as far as
Mm-hmm.
equality, because they still own all the resources.
Yep. And going on, I want to piggyback off that is I think it's something else that Rochelle has mentioned. Rochelle, you're the star of this
She
episode.
brought some good stuff up.
You
She
said you
brought
wanted
up
to
some
have a
good stuff.
conversation.
Oh
She brought
yeah,
some
oh
good
Right.
stuff
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yes.
I think we're all a little touched right now.
Mhm.
But also the whole fact that, well, what white people are getting taught and raised in fear, and we are being taught to survive what them niggas fear, and adding to the whole equality thing and mixing all that in with what I stated about how we don't have our own morals. We live by societal morals for the gender that we are. Mixing all that in, like, equality will it can't exist. Like, the way they set it up, equality absolutely can't exist.
We will never be equal,
It
ever.
can't. Yeah, it can't, because the psychological issues of everything that we're talking about accumulating within just you alone.